It's about that time again. Your season's coming to a close, and you're probably wondering, did you wear the best cleats that you could for your position this season? In today's video, I'll be giving you my top 5 football cleats of the 2019-2020 football season. I do this video every year, and every year I go through my top 5 favorite cleats. Over the years, I've made some small changes on how I evaluate what I think are the best 5 cleats of the year. And this year is no different. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. If you guys remember my video from last year, what I did is I put the cleats into different categories. So I had the best signature cleat, I had the best speed cleat, I had the best lineman cleat. I'm switching it up this year, and I'm gonna give you guys what I think my personal favorites of the best 5 cleats. Now, there's a couple different things that go into how I rank these cleats. Some of that is gonna be based on price, some that's gonna be based on the number of designs, some that will be based on availability. Where can you find these cleats? Are they only online, or can you find them in your local retail store? The good thing about all of these cleats in this video and doing it after the season is you can see if you have the right cleats, your best cleats, or if you wanna try something different. All of these cleats are on sale in different various retail outlets that you can find online, or because the football season is winding down, you might be able to find them in a local store in your area. The 5th cleat on this list is a lineman cleat. Now, I had an opportunity to get a first-hand look at these cleats while I was at the Super Bowl in Atlanta this year. Now, this is a first for any football cleat. There are no laces on the Force Savage Elite. Now, Nike also makes a Force Savage Pro that's not as high, and it does come with laces. Now, what I really like about the Force Savage Elite 2 cleats is that there are no laces, and for you big linemen out there, it's gonna make it much easier to put the cleat on. It maintains a lot of the great attributes of the first Force Savage cleat. For example, when you look at the exterior of the cleat, it's very durable. The midsole is going to provide a lot of comfort, similar to the previous model, and then it's going to be high to give you some of that stability. The cleat is still gonna fit very snug. You're not gonna have to worry about any of your laces, and it's going to be a little bit lighter than last year's cleat. Right now, this cleat is still available in a number of colors on the Nike site and is discounted as well. If you're a lineman out there looking for a second cleat, or if you want to get a head start on next year, this is one that you should definitely check out. The 4th cleat to make this list is another cleat from Nike. Not only did Nike revamp the Force line, but they also made some changes to the Menace line. These are the Nike Alpha Menace Elite 2 cleats. Now, Nike has several iterations of this cleat. This is the Elite version. They also make a Pro version, and they also make an Alpha Menace Shark version. Now, the Shark version is gonna be a rubber bottom cleat. It's gonna be a lot cheaper. Then you have the Pro version, which is not going to have the fly knit in the cleat. It's going to be a little bit heavier, and it's going to sit a little bit lower. Now, on the Pro version, which I don't have here with me, it is going to have a neoprene collar to it, which is still going to give you a comfortable fit. Now, the Elite cleat is going to be the no holds barred version of the Alpha Menace. It's going to have the entire fly knit upper. It's going to have the knit collar instead of the neoprene. It has the ankle strap, and it's also going to have the traditional Menace bottom that Nike came out with a couple years ago with the first Alpha Menaces, that eliminates unnecessary weight in the bottom of the cleat to keep the cleats light. Now, these weigh in at just over 4 ounces, which is very light when you consider it's very close to the weight of the Vapor Untouchable 3s, which were built for speed players. Now, with this cleat being in the Alpha line, it's going to be specialized for players who want that agility in their cleat. I personally would recommend this for your fullbacks, some of your running backs, your linebackers, some of your ends positions. I would not, however, recommend this for any of your receivers or any of your quick speed players. Nike has another product for that. Now, Nike did produce both the Vapor Elite and the Vapor Pros in a variety of colors. You can still go on the Nike site or some other sites to see if you can find a discount. The number 3 cleat on this list was a huge surprise for me, and I'm talking about the Jordan Retro 1 TD football cleat. Now, one of the reasons why it was a huge surprise for me is this is not the first retro Jordan football cleat that I've had or tested from Nike. Last year, Nike had the Jordan Retro 11 cleats, which were some of my favorite appearance-wise, but they weren't the elite performance cleat that I expected them to be. Now, although this cleat is made by the same company that produces the Vapor Untouchables and the Alpha Menace, I believe that when Jordan Brand made this cleat, it was produced very differently with different things in mind than the other performance cleats in the Nike lineup. When you look at the plate at the bottom, you can see that this is one of Nike's older plates that's going to be great on a variety of surfaces. It also is going to fit a variety of widths because this is not going to be as thin or narrow as the Vapor plate. Now they use Lunarlon in the midsole. This is going to give it very good cushioning. The downside of Lunarlon is that you're not going to get as much ground feel. If you're a speed player, a corner, a receiver, you're going to want some of that ground feel to feel fast. The great thing about this cleat is how well it fits. The fit is 10 times better than that of the Retro 11 football cleats. When I laced these up for the first time, this cleat had enough eyelets to really lock in your heel. This is going to be very different than those of you who had the Retro 11 lows. If you know from my reviews, I always recommended going with the highs. They didn't look as good for most of us in the lows, but that was where you were going to get the support. Nike did release these in a variety of colors. I love the all white colorway with the silver swoosh. The white colorway is going to get dirty really fast, and I would only recommend it if you're going to be customizing your cleats. Whether you play on grass or turf, the white is going to get tremendously dirty, but it does serve as a great base for some of those cleat customizers. You'll see two different versions of this cleat in the NFL. You'll see this one that's available at retail with this exact plate, and then you'll see some of the customized ones that I've also posted to my Instagram where they use a variety of plates, including the Vapor Untouchable 3 plate on the bottom of the Jordan cleat. Just like the other cleats that I talked about on this list, you can also find these for a discount. I don't know if that means Nike is not going to be producing them next year. I hope that they bless us with another retro in 2020. Some of the other great things about this cleat that are kind of hard to tell on camera is the breathability. So this is not going to be a full leather cleat. You are going to have some nylon, some mesh here to help the cleat breathe. You have that here on the toe, and you have it both on the exterior and medial side of the cleat. The tongue is also very padded, a lot like the old Super Speeds that you guys would have seen when I did this review. We're just over halfway through this list, and Nike has dominated the first 3 spots. Now that's going to continue with my second favorite cleat of the year, the Vapor Untouchable 3 Pro cleats. These cleats are built for speed, so this is going to be almost purely a speed player cleat. So your receivers, your cornerbacks, some of your linebackers, but it really is one of the best cleats that Nike has ever made. A few of the highlights that I love about this cleat are going to be the upper. So they don't have flywire in this version. They didn't have it last year either, but they don't need flywire because the entire upper is mesh. This is really going to be lighter than leather and still conform to your foot a lot like old leather cleats. The plate on the bottom I also believe is one of Nike's best. When you look at the type of studs, they have triangular studs, they have diamond studs, they have blades all over the cleat. It's going to give you some of the best traction in the game. By far, it's my favorite plate out of any of the manufacturers that they put on the bottom of their cleats. The sock liner silhouette, a couple of the brands switched to this a couple years ago and haven't really looked back. You now see the sock liner all over. Nike does have a Vapor cleat without the sock liner. However, I don't think the heel counter gives you enough of that lock-in. You can see just how big this heel counter is to really give you that stability along with the speed. Now I like these cleats so much that I personally have them in 6 different colorways if you include the OBJ up tempos. So that brings us to the #1 football cleat of the 2019-2020 football season. That top spot is going to be held by Adidas. So these are the Adidas Zero 8.0 football cleats. Now, even though I only have this cleat in a couple colorways, I'll tell you why I'm putting it at #1. There's a few key reasons why I have this cleat at #1. If you've seen my cleat reviews, you know that I break the cleat down into a number of different categories that I rate. Now, of those, there's going to be one key attribute that separates this cleat from the other cleats on this list, and that's going to be the fit. The Adidas Zeros routinely have one of the best fits on the market. Now, while the plate doesn't have as much grip as the Vapor Untouchable 3s, you're not going to have that slippage because the cleat fits so great. They have a number of eyelets for you to self-adjust the cleats depending on the lock-in that you want. And then in traditional Adidas fashion, they come in a number of colors and styles. You guys know those by now. If you haven't, definitely check out my channel, check out the cleat playlist. You'll see all the different types of Adidas Zero cleats that they come out with every year. So that's the biggest reason why these sit at #1. Now this is also going to be a speed cleat. It's going to be for your running backs, your speed backs. It's going to be for your cornerbacks. It's going to be for your safeties. It's going to be for some of your speed quarterbacks. Unlike Nike, Adidas does come out with new styles every year. So 8 years in a row, we've had 8 different Adidas Zero cleats, where Nike is more on a 2-year cycle with their cleats. I'm excited for next year to see what all the brands come out with. You'll notice that there's no Under Armour cleats on this list. While Under Armour has been making strides and making better and better cleats year over year, I still think they're lagging behind in a couple of those key areas like traction in the cleat and styles. So I want to hear from you guys. Tell me what cleats I was missing on this list, or tell me what cleats you have and whether you think my rankings were right or not. Let me know in the comments below. If you like my video, be sure to give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.